this video, I'm going to give you the exact walkthrough that you can follow to get more clients in 2024 using the flywheel marketing method that we teach at Video CEOs. Now, this is a method or a strategy that is timeless. Anybody can do it, B2B companies, B2C, enterprise. Obviously, from my experience and from the type of customers that we serve at Video CEOs, this is going to specifically benefit professional service providers, but literally any entrepreneur or business can get value from this. Now, the reason why you're watching this video, I'm sure, is because you want to get more clients. Everything that you've learned in the past probably hasn't benefited you as much as it could have, which is the reason why you're probably watching this video. Now, the fact is, for most entrepreneurs, a method or a strategy is not necessarily enough, because that will have to change each year or each month or each week. Once you figure out what works, almost everyone else copies you. And then at some point, that method or that strategy no longer works and you've got to think of a new one. What I'm about to share with you today is going to be a process that anyone can follow, which is going to be timeless. And this is going to be important because there's a lot of competition online. There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of businesses sending emails, a lot of businesses cold calling, running ads, sending DMs. They're employing entire sales teams to do this. They're hiring marketing teams to back up the sales teams. And almost every business is caught in the same cycle and everyone's pretty much doing the very same thing. And so if you do the same thing, you're going to be hidden by all of the noise. What you need is a new approach, because the way people get clients today, this year, is very different to how people were getting clients years ago. The solution to getting clients in 2024 is video marketing. I know that sounds like I'm biased because I'm the founder of Video CEOs and that's what we do. But trust me, this video is going to explain how you can do it yourself. I'm not going to try and sell you on anything. You and I both know that the only way to differentiate yourself from anyone else is through video content. It's an absolute game changer for client acquisition. There are so many benefits to leveraging video content. I won't be able to go through all of them on this video. But just consider for a second, whenever you buy something, you're typically doing research, and most of that research contains video content. You're watching videos on the product or service that you're about to buy or that you're thinking about buying. You're watching videos on how to solve the problem yourself. This is what everyone else is doing before they buy from you. And so if you don't have video content, you're falling behind. And I'm going to discuss some of the reasons on why this is so important throughout the rest of this video. If you're not on social media in 2024, then I don't know where you're living in the world, but your business is going to fail if you're not on it. If you don't have a presence on YouTube, if you don't have a presence on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, wherever your target audience is, you're going to struggle to get clients. It's as simple as that. The majority of people have very short attention spans. Most people have phones. They'll spend almost all of their time throughout the day on social media. You need to figure out where that time is being spent. You need to create a presence on those channels. If you're an established business right now and you don't have any subscribers, you don't have any followers, or if you're an entrepreneur, a decision maker, and you don't have any audience to back up your claims or to back up anything about you and your business, then it's time to start making a change this year. Social media is the most powerful client acquisition tool available to you on the market right now, and it's totally free. And absolutely anyone can create content for free and share value for free in order to build an audience. And I'll explain the importance of building an audience later on in this video. Now, the reason why video content is so popular is because it can be used across different platforms. So one video, if you post it as an Instagram reel, for example, can also be posted as a TikTok. It could be posted as a YouTube short. It could be posted as a Facebook reel. It could be posted on LinkedIn. It can be used as an advertisement. There are so many different use cases for video content, which is why it has the highest leverage. And you want to be using high leverage methods in order to grow your company, in order to get more clients. If you haven't heard of the 80-20 rule, then do yourself a quick favor and Google what that is. I don't want to explain it on this video, but when you create video content, you're essentially following the 80-20 rule. So if one video can be applied everywhere on the internet, then you want to be creating short form videos so that you can do that. You want to make a video that can be published everywhere. So a short form content strategy essentially looks like creating video content that you publish each day, and you make sure that you post that same video across every social media platform. This might seem like a lot of work, but you can use software so that it schedules it for you. You only have to upload it once and it publishes it across everywhere. Short form content isn't necessarily designed to sell anything. Most of the time, it's to hook people in, engage them, add some value, and then offer a call to action at times. Not every piece of short form video content needs to have a call to action. Some people might disagree with me, but the way that we do things at Video CEOs is that we mix and match it. Because if you're always trying to sell something to someone in short form videos, it's going to be very hard for you to build an audience. People are not going to trust you. You want to add as much value as possible. Now, the advantages of doing this is that you're able to stay top of mind. So even if someone is not buying right now, let's say, for example, you sell an enterprise package or you're in B2B, typically you know that someone is going to buy after a few months. Maybe your sales cycle is quite long. Well, in that case, then you want to make sure that you stay top of mind. You want to create video content that is going to engage them, add some value into their life, add some entertainment into their life, depending on the type of industry that you're in or the type of services and products that you're selling. Staying top of mind is the best way for you to get clients, because someone might consume your content for months and months and months, and then eventually something happens in their business or in their life and they need a solution, and because they've been consuming your content, they'll just go and buy from you. And this is why short form video content is so powerful. You can also run the same video as an advertisement on Instagram or TikTok or wherever your target audience is. Like with anything else, you need to have a strategy in place. So creating a script allows you to give the right pieces of information and value and entertainment to your target customers or to your audience. At Video CEOs, we follow a very specific process for creating scripts. We have copywriters that do their research on the products and the services that we're creating videos on, or about the industry that we're creating videos within. And so it's very important that you create a script that not only hooks people in at the very beginning, but also delivers enough value so that they keep coming back. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. They create video content that hooks people in, and once their audience gets hooked in, they don't deliver enough value, so it actually damages their reputation. If you damage your reputation, if you create video content that people watch for the very first time and they don't like that video, they're going to remember that in the future and just click off. Every script needs to have a very strong hook, a very strong middle, and a very strong ending. That ending can be a call to action, or it could be something that creates engagement. If you create video content where you are the only one speaking on camera, then you have to make sure that the video is captivating. It's got to pull people in, not just with your script and what you say, but also with the visuals. This is why at Video CEOs we create a lot of faceless video content, because it's much easier to control the transitions. We can keep people's attention for longer that way. If you're just speaking on camera, it can be very difficult to hold people's attention. Now, if you want the flywheel to work, you have to be consistent in creating content. You have to show up all the time. This is where people fail. That's why a lot of people start a YouTube channel and give up, for example. That's why a lot of people start posting on LinkedIn and then give up. And then they look at other influencers or other successful people and they wonder how they became so successful. Most of the people that you've bought a product or a service from, or the people that you follow online, they show up all the time. You need to be consistent because, like I said earlier, you have to be top of mind so that when someone needs a solution to one of their problems, you are the person that they go to. Consistency also enables you to create an audience. You create an audience by publishing interesting, insightful, valuable pieces of content or content that's entertaining. And you do it over and over and over again. You look at the statistics, the analytics, and you figure out how you can improve each time. This isn't going to happen overnight. You're not going to create one video and it goes viral. The chances of that happening is super low. Instead, what you want to do is create video content that you think might align with your target audience, publish it over a period of time, and then take a step back and reflect and see what you can do better. The cool thing about videos is that you can see when people drop off and then engage with the audience. When people comment, when they like, you can DM them, you can reply back. It's important to build an audience because when someone sees one of your advertisements, or if you reach out to someone with a DM, or if you send someone an email, the very first thing they're going to do is Google your business. They're not just going to go on your website. Whatever pops up in Google is what they're going to click on. Typically, it's going to be your social media platforms. Your Facebook's going to pop up, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, your YouTube channel. Assuming you brand everything correctly, that is at least what should be happening. If it's not appearing in Google search results, then you're doing something wrong. So let's say someone receives an outreach message from you. They're going to check out your social media profiles. They want to see if you're a legitimate business, if what you say is true, because there's a lot of scams out there and a lot of false promises. And if they click on your social media profiles and they see that you have a thriving audience, then it builds your social proof. It makes you look more trustworthy, legitimate. They're more likely to buy that way. It's also important to build an audience because it means that you can sell a product or a service to multiple parts of that audience. Let's say, for example, you only sell to business owners. You only have a product that you need to speak to the CEO or the business owner in order to sell. That's actually the case for most businesses. But the thing is, if you don't sell to multiple segments of your audience, you're actually missing out on a lot of money. So something that we teach at Video CEOs is getting the best staff within your company. So in order to get the best staff, the best employees, you have to train them. You have to not only find them, hire them, and train them. but you've also got to give them a good work environment and things like that. So in order to get people excited to work in your business, we teach creating membership communities where you can actually sell smaller products to people who might want to work in your industry. So let's say you're a cybersecurity company, for example. You might want to create a product which teaches people your SOPs on making your clients' businesses safe. So someone fresh out of university or college can buy your SOP, which you market as a sales program or a training program or an online course. And now you have opened up an entirely new stream of revenue because you're selling something at low ticket to people who are entering the workforce. They're going to remember you. They're going to remember your name, your brand. They might eventually work for you, but more likely they're going to work for another company. And now you've got an opening in that company because the people who have bought your products when they were fresh out of university or college can speak highly of you to the decision makers. Now, this is just one example, but hopefully it demonstrates the importance of building an audience. Of course, you need a strategy for maintaining consistency. So it's all about making sure that you either take a step back from your job, from your work life, every now and then, and you set time to record your own videos. But if you're like most people, you're probably not a very good presenter, or you don't like presenting on camera, or you just don't have the time to do that, which is why a lot of people come and work with us, because we have methods and systems in place to save you a lot of time, which I'll explain about further into this video. Long-form content is also something that you should not be ignoring. Last year, 2023, everyone was obsessed with short-form content, creating Hormozy-style reels, making sure the captions were like Alex Hormozy, and things like that. I'm not telling you not to create short-form content. I've already had a few slides on that earlier in this video. But long-form content has to be one of your main sales tools because short-form content pulls people in, it gets them hooked. But most of the time, before they buy, they want more information. So you need to have long-form videos that act as sales assets or sales tools that go into more detail about your product or your service, that gives more specific, measurable steps for people to follow if they want to solve the problem on their own. And within those videos, you can obviously talk about yourself and how you can actually help people, even if they are trying to solve it on their own. Because most of the time they're going to make mistakes. So it's good to kind of highlight the fact that you are available for helping them if they do struggle. Long-form content also adds to the 7-hour rule. So this is a rule that states that most people need to consume about 7 hours of content before they engage with anyone from your team, before they book a sales call, before they buy. The 7-hour rule is a few years old, and it's very possible now that this 7-hour rule is now the 14-hour rule because there's so much content out there online. There's so many different distractions. There's so many competitors. And so what you want to do is create long-form video content, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, 2-hour long podcasts, webinars, whatever it is. You want to create longer form video content or just content in general so that people can really consume and understand your brand, your benefits, your products, your services, what differentiates you, what makes you unique. The problem I see out there with most professional service providers in most industries is that businesses rely purely on their blog that generates no traffic, or they rely purely on Google Ads, which means that they have to keep spending money, or they rely purely on their sales team to post every now and then on LinkedIn. Now, although all these methods can work, they're not really sustainable. People want to do their own research before they engage with anyone from your company. So this is why you need to have a lot of content all over the internet at different stages of the buyer journey. And so in saying that, how do you cover the buyer journey? Essentially what happens is when you reach out to someone, they're going to do their own research. They're going to Google you, they're going to go on YouTube, they're going to ask their friends, they're going to look for Facebook groups, they're going to speak to their peers, they're going to do a lot of different research depending on where they're at. Are they trying to solve the problem on their own, or are they actually trying to find something that they can buy that's going to help them? Now you have to understand when someone's doing their research, they're looking at solutions that might be competing with you, or they're looking at solutions that might be cheaper, or they're looking at solutions that they can do themselves. So you have to create content that's going to show up when they're doing that research. You have to really map out and understand where your customers go to find out the information and what they do. Content just generally builds brand awareness and trust. If you have video content, it builds a lot of trust. If you've got blog content, it builds a lot of trust. You can demonstrate that you're an authority. And like I said at the beginning, if you're showing up all the time, you build a lot of brand awareness. You're staying top of mind. Content is important because it influences decision makers' abilities. If managers and decision makers speak to the people under them and they get suggestions, typically that's when they're going to do some research. A lot of organizations have Slack channels or Discord channels or just internal emails where they share content and they discuss things. So if you have content that's shareable, that means that even if your content doesn't necessarily reach a decision maker, it might be shared to a decision maker from someone within the organization. And if you receive a piece of content from someone within your organization, you immediately trust that piece of content because you trust that person. So this is how content will influence the decision-making abilities and why it's so important to show up all the time and create the right pieces of information that will show up at the right time in the buyer journey. Now, what a lot of people get wrong as well is that they create content before they actually have any real sales tools in front of them. A sales tool or sales asset is essentially a long form video that explains the benefits of your products and services. It explains the problem that you're solving and how you actually solve that problem in great detail. Then you can create smaller pieces of content from that foundational asset. Through this, you can then create your advertisements, your video sales letters, your explainer videos, your short form videos, your long form videos, whatever it is. And bear in mind, when you're creating this content, you can add tags and descriptions which enable you to show up in search throughout that buyer journey. So there's a dual purpose of long form video content in sales, because if you create longer form pieces of video content and you put them on YouTube, they're going to be showing up in search, but those same pieces of video content can be sent directly to decision makers by your sales team. If it's a long form video, you can cut that down into lots of smaller videos. You can cut that down into lots of smaller ads. Again, the 80-20 rule or the 80-20 principle. You make one video, there's so many benefits to using it. It can be used all over the internet. The more videos you make, the more everything compounds. The more search traffic you get, the more leads you get, the more sales. Every single piece of long form content doubles up as a sales asset that you can then leverage across social media depending on your goal. Now, if you're like most businesses, most salespeople, most entrepreneurs, you've tried DMing people in the past. You've tried emailing people in the past. There's a lot of people out there that rave about email marketing. I always get emails sent to me. I never have ever bought anything from an email that I've received, or at least a cold email. And I've also used email myself just as a normal outreach tool without any backup behind me, and I've never got any sales from it. Now, you could argue that maybe I'm not a very good email marketer, but I would argue that the reason why I don't buy from anyone sending me an email is because I've never actually heard of them before. And the reason why no one buys from me, or they didn't buy from me back in the day, I didn't make any sales, is because I don't have any content to back it up. Because when someone sends me an email, even if it's an interesting email, I'll do some research. Typically, there's no content to justify what they say. I can't trust what they're saying, and I don't want to spend my time jumping on a call with someone who is promising me the same thing as everyone else. So content is vital for your outreach efforts, because when you send an email to someone, they're not going to reply, they're going to go and do their research. Like I've already said earlier in this video, people are going to go and do their research on your social media, they're going to check out your website, they're going to Google things. So that's why content is so vital for a successful outreach approach. There's absolutely no way you can sit back and not make any content and just say, hey, we're just going to do emails, hey, we're just going to do cold calling. No way, because people don't buy on a whim anymore. They like to do their research. Content will also influence buyer behavior. So if you don't have any content available for people to find when they're doing research, that means when they're Googling things and when they're researching for things across the buyer journey, they're going to find your competitor's content, and they're going to consume your competitor's content for 7 hours or 14 hours until they're eventually ready to buy. And do you know who they're going to buy from? Your competitor, because they've been consuming your competitor's content. You didn't have any to support your approach or your product or your service. Your content is going to differentiate you from everyone else. Right now, there's not enough of it online. There's actually not a lot of competition when it comes to creating content, especially video content. And video content is the best medium because people prefer to watch a video or watch a movie instead of reading a book or a white paper. I've spoken to business owners for years, and they tell me that they're selling to a smarter or more intelligent type of clientele. And they seem to think that this type of clientele doesn't use social media. But all of the business owners that I've worked with have social media. So I don't know why a lot of business owners seem to think that if they're selling to C-suite, or if they're selling to high-level decision makers, that those decision makers don't use social media. It baffles me that anyone could still think this. Everyone is using social media in 2024. They were using it in 2023. So you need to make sure that you've got content that's showing up across social media, even if you don't think they use it, because the people underneath them within their organization certainly do. And you want the people underneath them to share that content with the decision maker. Another great thing about creating content along the flywheel, something that most people don't understand about creating video content, something a lot of people underestimate about creating content is that you can build an audience and then you can send ads to that audience, which means that you can reduce your ad spend. If you don't have an audience, it means you have to spend a lot of money to put your ads in front of people who have never heard of you before. It's far better to display ads to people who have already consumed your content. They're going to be far warmer. It's going to be far easier for you to sell to them. If the first time they hear from you is with an ad, they're far less likely to click. And if you're watching this video and you've had a lot of success with ads, that's awesome. I'm not saying not to run ads. But what I am saying is, instead of paying $100 a day to reach a certain amount of people, it makes far more sense to spend just a few dollars a day to reach the same amount of people. and those people have already heard of you before. And of course, social proof boosts your credibility. So if someone adds you on LinkedIn or finds your LinkedIn, your Facebook, whether it's you personally or your business, and they see that there's a lot of followers, a lot of subscribers, you're getting a lot of engagement, it makes it a lot easier for you to sell to those people. People love social proof. If you don't have any of that, they're going to do far more research, and if you don't have any content, then you're typically going to lose the client or the potential customer. Now, what you don't want to do is just run likes campaigns for a few cents a day to cheap locations like India, Pakistan, Vietnam, etc. This is a strategy that a lot of Facebook ad agencies used when they took on new customers, and they probably still do. That's the last thing that you want to do, because not only will you get an audience of people who will have no intention to buy, it also messes up the algorithm, and people will be able to see that those followers are fake. I often get approached by people on Instagram with 1 million followers, but when I look at their reels and when I look at their engagement and how many likes they don't get anywhere near 1 million in terms of reach or likes or engagement. And so I immediately know that their followers are fake. And as soon as I know that, I don't want to work with them at all. So you don't want your audience to think the same of you. Now, some people might not always do their research. They might not be as diligent as me, but at some point in the future, almost everyone is going to be cracking onto this. Now, the question I get asked all the time is, what about quality versus quantity? If we're posting a lot of content all the time, won't that affect the quality of what we're posting? How do you come up with the right topics? How do you make sure that every piece of content has enough value and entertainment and things like that? My answer to this question is that if you don't have any social media presence right now, if you have no audience right now, stop worrying about the quality of your content. Just make sure that you're being consistent. You have to start somewhere. Imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. You could spend all of your time creating an amazing YouTube video. This video might be a 10-minute masterpiece. But if you miss certain elements of that video, for example, not having a good thumbnail or a good headline, then no one is going to click and watch that video, and it's going to get no results, and you're going to be turned off by the idea of creating content. You certainly don't want that to happen. Trust me, if you create a video on YouTube, just as an example, and you make a video every single day for the next 365 days for the entire year of 2024, some of those videos might not be very good quality, but some of them will be fantastic. And the fact that you're showing up every single day will guarantee that you'll build an audience and that you will get sales. I'm 100% confident in this, and if you don't believe me, I challenge you to actually do it. Post a video every single day and prove me wrong. Genuine followers are obviously more important than just numbers, but the best way to attract real followers is to boost your posts on things like Instagram, to run ads, to find out what your ideal customers typically search for in Google and make videos around them. These are called evergreen videos. So it means if you post a video today that is evergreen, it might not go viral, but it will mean that when people are searching for that keyword that you will ideally name the video, then your video will pop up. Okay, so for example, if I make a video, how to get clients in 2024, if anyone types that into Google, hopefully they're going to find that video. And that video will be evergreen for the year 2024. So that's how you get real followers. That's how you attract real subscribers. And it's all about just being consistent and posting good content as often as possible. But if you worry too much about whether the content is good, it means at the end of the year, you're only going to post a handful of videos. And I know if you only post a handful of videos, you're not going to get any results. Take it from me, I've built multiple companies. The ones that succeeded are the ones where I posted more content. So what does all of this have to do with the video flywheel? I've essentially just made an entire video on creating more content. You probably already know that you have to create more content, but how exactly does this translate into a video flywheel? Well, the more content you create, the more everything compounds. The more content equals more followers, subscribers, bigger audience. It means a reduced spend on ads. It means that people will watch that content over and over and over again. And with more content, with more retargeting ads, with more outreach, everything just expands over time. The companies that start creating content today that is timeless and evergreen, that remains on the platforms forever, and they continue to create content throughout the year, are going to be the ones that win compared to a company that is a competitor who creates no content. If right now you're only making 100K a year and you're competing with a company making $1 million a year, but you're smashing content and your competitors are not, trust me, within the next 12 to 24 months, you are going to be 10x what they are. I have no doubt in my mind. Because everything goes round in a circle. The more videos you post, the more likes and followers you get, the more leads you get, the more traffic you get, the more sales. Flywheel marketing is a timeless strategy. It is something that is not going to go away. It's not just a method. It is a process. It's a way of life. It's a way of doing business. And it's going to be around for the next decade at least. You only have to look at some of these big billion-dollar businesses or some of these really successful influencers. And the only thing that they really have in common is the fact that they're pushing out content. The type of content is kind of irrelevant. However, like I said at the beginning of this video, if you follow the 80-20 principle, a video is the best type of content to create because you can cut it down into every other piece of content. You can use it on any other platform. And people prefer watching a video or watching a movie than reading a book. Now, the way that we do things at Video CEOs when we take on new clients is we actually help them build a client acquisition system using Flywheel Marketing. We work with you to create content. And one of the coolest things about working with us is that you don't have to record any content yourself. We clone your voice using AI, and we can even clone the way you look. So every single video looks and sounds like you. This means that we can create a massive amount of content, practically unlimited amount of videos, and publish those videos across every platform, every single day, showing up consistently all year round, and you don't have to put in any work yourself. The only thing you would have to do is apply to work with us, and if you qualify, we would only need an audio clip from you so that we can clone your voice, and there's a few other little bits and pieces that we can discuss on the call. And whilst we're making that video content, instead of you just sitting around with your legs up on your desk hoping for clients and sales to come in automatically, you're going to go through our training program so that you can implement a client acquisition system that operates and works on autopilot, including your DM process, your direct messaging, including your advertising, including your emails. Every single way to get clients is embedded into this training program, and it's backed up by the fact that you have sales tools and videos so that you can't fail. Video Flywheel simplifies your client acquisition because every single thing has the support of the content behind it. So if you're sending emails to people, it's backed by content. If you're running ads and people do their research, it's backed by content. If you create video content throughout the year and some of it bombs, you stop making that video content and you focus on the type of video content that has the best stats, the best click-through rates, the best watch times. And you can track how many sales you get from the videos by using things like bit.ly links and a few other little methods that we only teach in the program. A lot of people think if they use AI, then it's going to remove the trust factor because a lot of people have been told when creating video content, it's designed to make people know, like, and trust you. But if it's your voice on the videos, people are going to know, like, and trust you over time anyway. If it's an AI representation of you, which looks very realistic these days, then people are going to get to know, like, and trust you over time. The problem with creating video content yourself, especially if you're a decision maker or a business owner, an entrepreneur, whatever it is that you're attaching your brand to your face, which sounds great until you want to sell the company or until you want to sack or fire that person who was the face of your brand. So if it's you personally creating video content, yes, you're going to create an awesome personal brand and people are going to want to work with you. But as your company grows, you personally are not going to work with every single one of those clients. They're going to be disappointed that it's not you that they're working with. And if someone comes to buy your company, it's going to lower its value because people are associating the brand to your face. Doing something like this works perfectly for anyone in a country that doesn't speak English, but they want to sell to English speakers. It works perfectly for someone that doesn't want to present on camera. It works perfectly for people that don't feel that they have the sales skills to create an amazing sales advertisement on video. Speaking of which, you might want to use AI for sales videos because have you ever actually tried to create a video where you're speaking on camera that is designed to be an advertisement? Typically, if you're going to record one of these, you need to script the ad. Every single word in the script has to actually have a point. And so when you record the video yourself, after you've edited it and you've watched it yourself, it is always going to look cheesy because you yourself are probably not a salesperson. If you had to script it and look up and down, it's not really natural and it feels very cheesy. So AI allows you to ensure professionalism within your business, throughout your brand, throughout your company, and eliminates all the cheesiness of creating sales videos or sales advertisements. Trust me, I know exactly how this feels because I used to do this myself. This is why I built Video CEOs, because I know most people don't like being salesy. And when you create an advertisement, you're doing something that is not natural to you. So that's a big benefit of using AI in your sales process. It also means that you don't have to rely on your salesperson to be a really good seller or a really good presenter. You can use AI that will be equally as good or better than your salesperson. And they can focus on actually developing relationships, which is essentially what sales is. So it comes down to the old way versus the new way. The old way of doing things is to create on-camera video content, on-camera sales videos, to be cheesy, to learn how to present, to learn how to communicate, to make sure you don't get anything wrong, to make it perfect because you're representing your company's brand. The old way of doing things is to send emails and DMs with nothing to back it up. So when people do their research, you have nothing within the buyer journey. No one goes to your blog. You don't know how many people are reading your blog. You don't know if they read half of it, skim through it. There's no stats. The engagement that you get on LinkedIn is poor. Posting on Facebook is almost a waste of time these days. Your target audience might not be on Instagram or TikTok. And YouTube is so hard to create video content that gets subscribers. Most of the time when you create a video, you get like 10 views. And that's why when you run ads, people don't buy from you. And then they go and do research and they look at your content with no social proof and no audience. And they think this is not a legitimate company. It's not a successful company that I want to work with. Because what you really want is to have a brand that exudes success and confidence and the ability to get amazing results for your customers. And the only way to do that is to have an audience, to have social proof. And the only way to build that audience and to build social proof is to have content that you create and publish each day for a long period of time, consistently, until it just starts to work like a flywheel. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to apply to work with me and my team, click the link in the description below and book a call. If you enjoyed this type of content and you want to get more of it, like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.